Hey there, everybody. Hope you're having a wonderful day wherever you are in the world. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to whoever watching this from. And this is going to be a small talk on being hopeful. So, yeah, as we all know, it's very hard nowadays to essentially have a sense of hope and faith amidst our current times and our current situations. Not just with, of course, everything that's been going around in terms of the world itself and the disasters that are unfolding and everywhere in countries, war zones, and all of that. And you know, not to mention all of our struggles, tedious, you know, nuisances and hindrances that we come across in our daily lives, not just on a grandiose scale, but on a minuscule scale as well. It can be anything that stresses us out or pisses us off along the day, or perhaps, it can be our workload, our work schedule, just a schedule in general. We have planned for the day and the stuff that we have to get done and have accomplished and all that. And it can feel quite overwhelming, especially when you're surrounded by all of this negativity and all of this bad news. And everywhere you go, from the media you consume to the things that you're experiencing in your daily life without the media and just, in real life itself, it's really hard to stay hopeful and to have faith when everything seems to be falling apart. And I've I've gone through my fair share of those situations. Every now and then, it's not to the level of pain or nuisances or hindrances or setbacks that some of you might you know experience or might have been experiencing in the past or even now. It might honestly be worse or much more painful or grandiose than that. And if that is the case, I hope you're doing all right. I hope you're coping all right. And if it's difficult, maybe this message uh, in this video may bring forth some sense of reassurance or hope in in will get you to persevere through that. But yeah, the thing is, it's very hard. I'm not gonna lie. It's if you know being in those situations where you can't see any you can't see any glimmer of hope. Not to reiterate it too much, but any glimmer of light amidst the dark tunnel, as they say, or seeing only countless of struggles, countless of battles that you have to overcome personally, externally, internally, with your own mind, with your relationships, with your routines, with your life, everything. And it's really hard to, go through that and to have to overcome it one after the other. And it just keeps coming and coming and coming. Like, yeah, it's like you're in a round of boxing. Can't put it in any analogy, but it's the best analogy I've got. Where you're in boxing. There's 12 rounds, if I'm not mistaken, and but in this game or this match with life, it can feel like an everlasting fight, an everlasting boxing match where you keep taking hit after hit after hit, and the rounds just keep on going after the bell. And the round starts, and then the round starts, and the round starts, and it doesn't end until you know our time here is done and we move on to the next life, the afterlife. And that it can get quite tedious and overwhelming once again. It's really tough to deal with that. But enough with the barrage of disappointing realities that we have all come to know and grown to get used to and accustomed to. Despite those several rounds, despite the punches that you've taken, just know that with each punch, with each knockdown, with each fight and battle that you encounter and persevere through, even fall short of and get defeated by, You can always take comfort and solace in knowing that with each round, with each strike, with each punch that you take, with each fight that you lose, with each fight that you win, you get stronger, you get wiser, you get more adaptive to this tug of war match that you're in with life. And that in and of itself, just reflecting upon everything that you've been through can do a lot for you. It has done for me in most cases where I find myself, you know, being riddled with countless bad streaks of luck. It can be on a grander scale or on a minuscule scale. It can be regarding my life, my health, or it can be, regarding the opportunities that I have, my relationships, and so on and so forth. It always feels like I'm getting beaten down, being used as a punching bag. If so, if you can relate, and by life, by people, by everything, and sometimes even by my own self. I use myself as a punching bag, and sometimes that pain, that misery, that regret, heartache, that sorrow, that agony, that grief that you go through, you can see yourself becoming a more stronger person, a more stronger version of yourself, not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And I'd like to take it step by step in regards to that. So physically, of course, if you get beaten down so much, physically your body will adapt to it, or your mind will get used to the pain, and eventually use it meaning to say that you get stronger, because I believe that it's not it's not how, in terms of strength, it's not how much more painful of a punch you can take, but how long you could last. You know, it's like doing reps in the gym, doing reps for an exercise, for a workout. The amount of strength does not only pertain to how much weight you can lift, but how long can you lift for? How many reps can you do with that enlarged or oversized weight? Yeah. So yeah, in terms of physically strengthening yourself, that's what it does in my perspective, or in my personal point of view. Because once again, I can only speak for myself. But then, yeah, it builds you up physically and it builds you up mentally directly, because your mind gets used to the pain, your mind gets used to the effort that it adapts your body to it, so that you know you won't be thinking about it, you'll just keep doing it, and eventually you'll grow stronger, your muscles will grow stronger, you'll get a bit more used to the pain, your endurance will increase, and so on and so forth. Now, emotionally, it's the same thing. Once you get used to heartbreak, once you get used to pain, misery, sorrow, regret, falling short, getting defeated, dealing with failure, this thing of not doing enough and not being enough, your mind adapts to it, and your mind gets so used to it that you either fall to its you know its grasp, so to say, for lack of a better word, or you decide to use that as fuel to get better, to improve on yourself, to recover, to heal, to grow. And that mental strength that you've already cultivated allows you to go through this rigorous process countless of times, because you are going to go through it a bunch of times for as long as you live. You know, break, fall, break, heal, recover, rise again, try again. And if it doesn't work, you repeat. And it's all about endurance. Eventually, your emotional fortitude will will you know be strong enough that you keep going through it and you keep learning and making better choices emotionally, physically, mentally, and it'll it'll eventually cultivate this habit of, just looking on the brighter side of things and shifting your perspective to from why has this happened to me, why me, just all of those questions of self-pity and degrading yourself, self-blame and questioning, why, to how can I improve it. It goes from why to how. It's like, all right, this happened to me, how can I improve it, how can I be better, how can I make sure that I grow and learn from this so it doesn't happen again, or what is it trying to teach me so I can learn it, learn the lesson, take the lesson to heart so that it won't repeat itself in the future. That's another learning curve. That's another sign of growth. That's another sign of wisdom, because instead of blaming, you're taking accountability in a sense and just removing all of this self-pity and cutting it short and getting right into trying to improve yourself and trying to you know make the necessary changes in your life or in yourself to prevent those things from happening again, and prevent you from being in this state again of brokenness. Not to say that you won't be broken again, but in a sense, if it does happen again, it'll be for a different reason, another reason you can learn from and grow from. And all of this also correlates with your growth and your spiritual health or your spiritual well-being, because I believe that the more we encounter struggles, the more we would be more inclined to seek out, you know, spiritual intervention or divine intervention, as other people say. Asking them for this, asking them for guidance, asking our spiritual guide spiritual guidance, a sense of direction or hope, in a sense where all hope seems lost. Because that's at the end of the day, when we've done all that we could and we still fall short, there's nothing else that we can turn to. There's nothing else that's humanly possible for us to do rather than to turn to the divine, turn to the spiritual side of things and ask God or the universe for some discernment on what we should do, how should we approach this, where, what path we should take, what step is there for us to make, and so on and so forth. And I feel like, like I said, if things are constantly falling apart, we're more inclined to do so, to seek guidance from spiritual. Because if everything is going well and if everything is always fine and dandy and everything goes our way, then what's the need for that, right? What's the need of seeking help? What's the need of learning? What's the need of seeking it? It's only within these failures, within these shortcomings, is where we truly are able to learn, grow, grasp, think, grasp the lesson, and prosper and rise again from it, become a better person, altogether be a kinder, more compassionate, more resilient, more stronger, more wiser, more emotionally stable, more emotionally stable, mentally stable, spiritually enlightened, so to say, and physically strong. All in all, it's just a growing process. It's a never-ending battle until life decides it's time to go. So, I mean, that glimmer of hope that I would say in this talk would be the fact that you're improving each and every single day, with every downfall, with every pitfall, with every rejection, heartache, and grievances that you encounter along the way. Because at the end of the day, that's the ultimate reward, right? Being a better and stronger human being I mean, of course, there are external rewards that are much more appealing to the eye, as all of us would want, but at the end of the day, for me personally, that's what I use to give myself true, give me a sense of hope that even amidst these circumstances, even amidst these these shortcomings, you're still getting better, you're still improving, you're still growing as a person, you're not staying stagnant, you're still progressing in a way, and that's something to look forward to, that's something to be hopeful for, that's something to be excited for each and every single day, even though it may not seem glamorous, because it never is. It only seems glamorous when, everything works out. That's not the case. But don't let that stop you from, doing it, whatever it is that you have to do to heal, recover, pick yourself back up, and try again. Not everybody's gonna be there to, give you that pep talk or to stick by your side because everybody's got their own problems. And of course, you know, and there are gonna be some people, a few people who are gonna stick by you through thick and thin. But then again, not everybody was. And everybody's going to be there with every single loss, especially if you're on a constant losing streak, to comfort you and to be there for you. So you just got to keep your head up and know that there are people rooting for you, despite them not showing it. Hell, I'm just a random stranger on the internet or YouTube, and by default, I'm given the setbacks and the heartaches that I've encountered. I hope that all of us, in general, no matter who you are, eventually grow, come out of, persevere, and overcome whatever tribulations and struggles that you're going through. And find that sense of relief, find that sense of strife, find that sense of breakthrough and triumph in life. Because at the end of the day, that's what matters. And I feel like for me personally, if I get to see someone strive and succeed, regardless of whether I had something to do with it or not, that warms my heart. So and that's all for this up, guys. Hope you guys took something away from this, and yeah, keep going. Always hope. I know that there's a lot going on right now in the world. Maybe a lot going on with you, but yeah, just remember to keep going, to keep striving, to keep persevering, and hey, you never know. Mm, maybe you could be a symbol of hope in the process while you're doing that. Just keep going, keep persevering, and somebody who's in a dire situation may see you, may witness the amazing things that you do despite the setbacks that you're facing, and eventually gets inspired, it gets motivated to do the same. In a sense, you're inspiring hope and you're spreading it even if you don't notice it. So yeah, anyway, thanks for watching again, guys. You have a great day.